I'm Jake, 28, still crashing at my folks' place in a small town where everybody knows your business. Life's been a grind. Couldn't scrape together enough to move out after some bad decisions drained my bank account last year. Don't ask, it's a long, dull story. My family's not exactly the cuddly type. My dad, Tom, is a gruff mechanic who's always in his own head, muttering about bills. My mom, Diane, is obsessed with her book club and keeping up appearances. My brother, Ethan, is 25, always out with his buddies, only showing up when he needs cash or a favor. We're not fighting all the time, but we're more like strangers sharing a house than a tight-knit crew. So, out of the blue, I win 100 grand in the lottery. Not enough to retire, but more money than I've ever seen. I keep it quiet for a bit, just sitting on it, trying to figure out my next move. Maybe pay off my beat-up Chevy, get a small place, start fresh. I'm actually stoked for once. But that lasts about as long as a cheap beer. My cousin, Ryan, who's always poking into everyone's life and posting about cars he doesn't own, somehow finds out. I think he glimpsed a notification on my phone when he was over for Diane's birthday. Next thing I know, he's texting me. Yo, we hitting Miami, or what? I'm like, dude, chill. But it's too late. He blabs in the family group chat, and suddenly my phone's blowing up. Diane's dropping hints on social media about blessings and sharing with family. Ethan's texting me, asking what I'm buying him, like I'm Santa Claus. Old high school buddies start messaging, saying stuff like, congrats, man, don't forget your roots. Nobody asks how I'm holding up or what I'm planning. It's all. So, you gonna hook your mom up with a new kitchen? Or hey, my car's acting up, could use a hand. I haven't even deposited the check yet, and it's like I'm everybody's personal bank. I'm just sitting there, staring at my phone, wondering how it got like this so fast. Tom doesn't say much at first, just gives me these long, hard looks, like I owe him something. One morning, I'm eating toast at the kitchen table, and he walks in, bags under his eyes, looking rough. He just stands there, staring, then says, flat as hell, some folks pay their way, even with family. Blood don't mean free. I'm thinking, what the hell's that supposed to mean? I shrug it off, figuring he's just grumpy, but it sticks with me. Something's brewing, and it ain't good. So, I'm Jake, still reeling from this 100 grand lottery win, and my family's already acting like I'm their personal ATM. I'm 28, stuck at home with my parents, Tom and Diane, and my brother, Ethan, in this small town where gossip spreads faster than wildfire. I thought I could keep the win under wraps, but my cousin Ryan blew that up, and now it's open season on my phone. Texts, calls, even social media posts from Diane about sharing God's blessings are piling up. Nobody's asking how I'm doing, just what I'm going to buy them or how much I'm handing over. It's like I'm not even a person anymore, just a walking paycheck. A few days after Ryan's big mouth, Ethan corners me in the living room. He's leaning against the wall, scrolling his phone, acting all casual, but his eyes are locked on me. So, you gonna do right by us, he says, like I owe him rent for existing. He mentions how he and his buddies are tight on cash, how a couple grand could help them out. I tell him, I haven't even got the money yet, man. He snorts, rolls his eyes, and walks off, muttering something about me being stingy. I'm thinking, bro, you've been mooching off mom and dad forever, and now I'm the bad guy? Diane's no better. She's all smiles at her book club, posting online about family unity, and tagging me in these sappy quotes about generosity. One night, she sits me down at the kitchen table, coffee mug in hand, and starts laying it on thick. We've always been there for you, Jake, she says, voice all soft. Now it's your turn to give back. I'm like, give back what? I've been scraping by, same as you. She just sighs, like I'm disappointing her, and goes back to her phone. It's clear she's more worried about what her friends think than what's actually going on with me. Then there's Tom. He's been quiet, but it's the kind of quiet that feels like a storm's coming. He's slamming cabinets, stomping around, giving me these glares like I stole something. One evening, he finally speaks up while I'm watching TV, sits down heavy on the couch, beer in hand, and goes, you know, we let you stay here when you were broke. Family steps up. I'm floored. I say, you're my dad. That's kind of your job, right? He laughs, but it's cold. Don't get selfish now, boy. You got a chance to make things right. Make what right? I'm thinking. Nobody ever said I was running up a tab for being their kid. The worst part comes when I mention I'm looking at apartments. I find a small place, nothing fancy, just a one-bedroom I can afford after paying off my Chevy. I ask if anyone can help me move some stuff. My old desk, a couple boxes, nothing crazy. Tom loses it. He's in the garage, wrench in hand, and yells, we ain't your damn movers. Jake, you think you're too good for us now? Diane's just standing there, not saying a word, scrolling her phone like always. Ethan chimes in, smirking, yeah, you're only good for cash, not dragging your junk around. I'm stunned. I just look at them, say, good to know, and walk out. Ethan laughs, calls me dramatic. Tom's still ranting about kids these days as I shut the door. That night, my phone lights up with texts and voicemails. Diane's all, after everything we've done, you're just gonna turn your back? Ethan's like, you're supposed to take care of us, man. Don't be that guy. I sit there, listening to their voices, and it hits me. They don't see me as family. I'm just the guy who's supposed to fix their problems now that I've got a little cash. I don't even feel mad, just empty. I'm done trying to explain myself. They want to make it about money? Fine. I've got a plan, and they're not going to like it. More on that soon. I'm Jake, 28, and I just won 100 grand in the lottery, which turned my family into a pack of vultures. I'm living with my parents, Tom and Diane, and my brother, Ethan, in a small town where secrets don't stay secret. My cousin Ryan blabbed about my win, and now everybody's acting like I owe them a cut. I'm trying to get my own place, pay off my Chevy, and start fresh, but my family's got other plans, like bleeding me dry. After Tom and Ethan blew up at me for asking for help moving, I knew I was done. I found a small apartment, nothing special, just a spot to call my own. I pack up my stuff, clothes, my old desk, some books, and load it into my truck alone. Nobody lifts a finger. Diane's at her book club, probably spinning some story about her ungrateful son. Ethan's off with his buddies, and Tom's just sitting in his recliner, scrolling through his phone, ignoring me like I'm invisible. I bang my desk against the stairs, nearly drop a box of dishes, and nobody even looks up. I leave a lamp stuck in the hallway, half hoping someone will notice. They don't. I move into my new place, a tiny one-bedroom with creaky floors and no furniture yet. First night, I'm lying on a sleeping bag, using my phone's data because Wi-Fi's not set up. It's quiet, and for the first time in forever, I feel like I can breathe. Then my phone starts buzzing. Voicemails pile up. Diane's voice, all shaky, says, "Jake, how could you just leave us? Family doesn't do this." Ethan's next, half laughing. "Hope you're happy with your money. Big shot. You'll miss us when you're lonely." I listen, then delete them. I'm not falling for the guilt trip. The next day, it gets worse. Diane posts on social media, some vague nonsense about family trials and praying for lost souls. Her book club friends are commenting, "Stay strong, Diane." And kids these days. I'm like, are you serious? Ethan sends me a video on social media of him and his buddies at a bar, captioned, "Could have used a round from you, bro." I ignore it. Then Ryan, the cousin who started this mess, texts me, "Heard you're in trouble. You good?" I send a thumbs up and leave it at that. I'm not about to spill my guts to him. A couple days later, Diane calls, leaves a long voicemail about how Tom's got some health issue, something about his back acting up, and how money's tight. She says, "If you care about us, you'll help out." Funny how they never mentioned being broke before I won the lottery. Ethan texts next, says his truck's got a busted transmission, and he could use a little help, like $500. He sends a payment app request, no greeting, just a number. An hour later, he UPS it to 800, says it's just in case. I decline both. He texts, "Guess you're too busy being rich." I don't reply. Then I get a call from our landlord, Mike, who I've known since high school. He's chill, but he sounds stressed. "Jake, your folks are 2 months behind on rent. They said you'd cover it." I'm floored. I tell him, I'm not living there anymore, and I'm not paying their bills. He sighs, says Diane mentioned my big win, so he figured they were good. I set him straight, not my problem. I start piecing it together. They've been behind for months, long before my win, and never said a word. They just assumed I'd bail them out because of the lottery. That's when I get an idea. I ask Mike, what happens if they don't pay up? He says the lease is up soon, and if they can't cover it, they're out. I say, keep me posted. I might be interested in the place. He laughs, thinking I'm joking, but says, all right, I'll let you know. I'm not joking. If they want to play dirty, I can play smarter. They think I'm just going to roll over and hand them my money? Nah. I'm done being their doormat. Something's coming, and they're not going to see it. More soon. I'm Jake, 28, and I'm still dealing with the fallout from winning 100 grand in the lottery. I moved out of my folks' place, Tom and Diane's house, into a small apartment, trying to start fresh. My brother, Ethan, and my cousin, Ryan, are still acting like I owe them something. The whole town knows about my win thanks to Ryan's big mouth, and my family's treating me like their personal cash machine. I'm done playing their game, but they're not backing off. A week after I settle into my new place, the guilt trips go into overdrive. Diane's blowing up my phone with texts like, "We're struggling, Jake." Family helps family. She's still posting on social media, dropping hints about hard times and ungrateful kids. Her book club buddies are eating it up, leaving comments like, "Praying for you, Diane." I'm rolling my eyes so hard it hurts. Ethan's no better. He sends me a payment app request for $1,000. No explanation, just a note saying, "You know why." I decline it, and he fires back, "Real nice. Bro, guess you're too good for us now." I don't even respond. Tom's still giving me the silent treatment, but I hear him in the background when Diane calls, grumbling loud enough for me to catch it. "If only somebody would step up," he says, like I'm not on speaker. I'm thinking, be subtle. Why don't you? Then Ryan texts again, acting concerned. "Yo, your mom says you're ghosting everybody. What's good?" I send a quick, "I'm fine," and shut it down. He's just fishing for gossip to spread. Then it gets weirder. I get a message from an old high school friend, Sarah, who I haven't talked to in years. She says, "Saw your mom's fundraiser online. You okay?" I'm like, "What fundraiser?" She sends me a link to a crowdfunding page Diane set up, titled Family in Need. It's got a sob story about unexpected hardships and a picture of our old house looking rundown. Diane's written, "Our son's choices have left us in a tough spot. I'm floored. They're out here begging strangers for money, blaming me, without even a heads up." I comment, "Funny how you didn't ask your son for help before going public." Diane deletes it fast, then texts me in all caps, "How dare you embarrass us? You don't know sacrifice." I leave it on read. The next day, Tom calls, no greeting, just straight to yelling. "You're tearing this family apart, Jake. You think you're better than us?" I hang up mid-rant. Ethan tries video calling me, and when I pick up, he's putting on this fake sad face, saying he might lose his apartment because of car troubles. He begs for a couple $100. I say, "You're not my responsibility." He flips out, yells something about me being heartless, and hangs up. I'm just sitting there, wondering how they got so bold. Then I talk to Mike, the landlord, again. He says, "Your folks are 3 months behind on rent now. They keep saying you'll pay it." I tell him, I'm not covering them. I'm done. He mentions the lease is almost up, and if they don't pay, they're out. I lean in, say, "If that place opens up, I want it." He chuckles, but I'm dead serious. I'm starting to see a way to flip this whole mess on them. They think they can guilt me into paying their way? Nah, I'm playing my own game now. A few days later, Ethan shows up at my apartment, banging on the door. I open it a crack, and he tries to push in, saying he needs a place to crash for a bit. I block him, tell him to leave. He shoves me, misses, then starts yelling about how I'm selfish, how I don't care about anybody. My neighbor pokes his head out, and I just shrug. Ethan finally storms off, kicking a trash can on his way out. Diane calls later, all soft and teary, saying she's sorry if they push too hard, but family comes first. I tell her, family works both ways. She ignores that, just says she's praying for me. I leave her on read, too. I'm not just sitting back anymore. I call Mike and say, if they're out, I'll put down a deposit, but only if they're gone on time. He says, "You're serious?" All right, deal. It feels cold, but I'm past caring. They've shown me what I'm worth to them, nothing but a paycheck. If they want to play hardball, I'm ready. They're about to find out what happens when I stop playing nice. More to come. I'm Jake, 28, and the lottery win that was supposed to be my ticket to a fresh start turned my family into strangers. My parents, Tom and Diane, and my brother, Ethan, are leaning hard on me for cash, acting like my $100,000 win is their personal bailout fund. I moved out to a small apartment to get some space, but they're not letting up. My cousin Ryan's still stirring the pot, and the whole town's buzzing thanks to Diane's crowdfunding stunt. I'm done being their doormat, and things are about to get real. After Ethan's tantrum at my door and Diane's fake tears, I'm over it. I told the landlord, Mike, I'd take the family house if Tom and Diane get evicted for not paying rent. They're 3 months behind, and they've been banking on me to cover it, but I'm not budging. Diane keeps up her social media game, posting about family struggles and how some people forget their roots. Her book club crew's eating it up, dropping comments like, "Stay strong, you'll get through this." I'm tempted to clap back online, but I hold off. No point fueling their drama. Then Ethan tries again, showing up at my apartment late one night, banging like he's the cops. I open the door a crack, and he's all, "I need a place to crash, man, just for a bit." He looks rough, like he hasn't slept, but I'm not falling for it. I tell him, "Go home, Ethan." He tries to push past me, saying, "You owe us, you know that." I hold my ground, say, "I don't owe you nothing." He swings at me, half-hearted, and misses. My neighbor's door creaks open, and Ethan backs off, muttering about how I'm a lousy brother. He storms out, and I lock the door, heart pounding but done with his games. The next morning, Tom calls, voice low and angry. He doesn't even say hi, just lays into me. "You're killing your mother, Jake. She can't sleep, worrying about money. You gonna let us lose everything?" I'm stunned they're still trying this. I say, "You were behind on rent before I won anything. That's on you." He curses, calls me ungrateful, and hangs up. Diane follows up with a text, all sweet, saying, "We're family, Jake. We need you now." I reply, "You didn't need me when I asked for help moving." She doesn't respond. I check in with Mike, and he says the lease is up in 2 weeks. If they don't pay, they're out, and I'm first in line for the house. I tell him, I'm good for the deposit, but they gotta be gone. He nods, says, "You're playing hardball, huh?" I respect it. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not guilty either. They showed me who they are, people who only care when there's something to gain. I start thinking about what it'd be like to take the house, fix it up, make it mine. Not out of spite, but because I deserve a place to call home, same as anyone. Then Diane pulls a new move. I get a call from her friend, Mrs. Carter, from her book club. She's all, "Jake, your mom's heartbroken. A good son would help his family." I'm polite but firm. "You don't know the whole story, ma'am. Thanks for calling." I hang up. Ryan texts next, saying, "People are talking, man. You're looking like the bad guy." I tell him, "Let them talk. I'm done explaining." I block him when he sends a snarky emoji. The pressure's building, but I'm holding my line. They think I'll cave, but they're about to learn I'm not the pushover they thought. Next move's coming, and it's gonna shake things up. I'm Jake, 28, and this $100,000 lottery win has turned my life into a circus. My parents, Tom and Diane, and my brother, Ethan, are acting like I'm their personal bailout fund. I moved out to a small apartment to get some peace, but they're relentless, guilting me for cash while the town buzzes with gossip thanks to my cousin Ryan. I told the landlord, Mike, I want their house if they get evicted for not paying rent. They're 3 months behind, and I'm done playing their game. The pressure's cranking up. Diane's still posting on social media, painting me as the selfish son who abandoned his family. Her latest is a photo of the house with a caption about tough times testing faith. Her book club friends are all over it, commenting, we're praying for you. I'm tempted to fire back, but I keep my cool. Ethan's not slowing down either. He sends another payment app request, this time for $1,200, with a note, car's dead. Help me out. I decline it, and he texts, you're a real piece of work, Jake. I leave it on read. Tom's the worst. He shows up at my apartment one evening, pounding on the door like he's about to break it. I don't open it, but I can hear him through the thin walls. You think you can just walk away? We raised you, he yells. My neighbor texts me, asking if I need help. I tell him no, and Tom eventually leaves, but not before leaving a voicemail. You're no son of mine. You'll pay for this. I delete it, but it stings. Not because I feel guilty, but because it's clear now they never saw me as family, just someone to lean on when it suited them. Then Diane pulls a new stunt. I get a text from an old neighbor, Mr. Larson, who says, saw your mom's fundraiser. Didn't know things were so bad. I'm like, what now? He sends me a link to an updated crowdfunding page. Diane's added a new sob story. Our family's facing eviction, and our son's turned his back. There's a blurry photo of Tom looking stressed, and they've raised a couple $100 from church folks. I'm livid. I comment, maybe ask your son directly instead of lying online. It's deleted in minutes, and Diane texts me, you're shaming us in front of everyone. How could you? I don't reply. I call Mike to check on the house. He says, they're out in a week if they don't pay. You still want it? I tell him, yeah, I'm ready. No extensions for them. He laughs, says, you're cold, man, but I get it. I'm not cold, I'm just done. They've been behind on rent for months, long before my win, and never told me. They thought I'd just hand over my money because they raised me. Nah, I'm thinking about moving back into that house, fixing it up, making it mine. Not to rub it in their faces, but because I deserve a real home. Ethan tries one last time, showing up at my building again. He's calmer this time, almost pleading. Jake, I'm sorry, okay? We're in deep. I just need $1,000 to get by. I look at him through the door crack and say, you had your chance to be family. I'm not your bank. He curses, kicks the wall, and leaves. Diane calls later, voice all soft, saying, we're sorry if we hurt you, but we're desperate. I tell her, you didn't care when I needed help. I'm done. She starts crying, but I hang up. I'm not falling for it anymore. The lease is up soon, and I'm ready to make my move. They're about to see what happens when you treat family like a paycheck. More to come. I'm Jake, 28, and this $100,000 lottery win has flipped my world upside down. My parents, Tom and Diane, and my brother, Ethan, have been hounding me for cash, acting like I owe them my whole paycheck. I moved out to a small apartment to get some peace, but they're relentless with guilt trips and that shady crowdfunding stunt. My cousin Ryan's still stirring up gossip, and the town's eating it up. I told the landlord, Mike, I'd take their house if they get evicted for not paying rent. They're out in a few days, and I'm ready to move in, but something unexpected's about to change the game. Diane's still at it, posting online about family betrayal and how God tests us with hardship. Her book club crew's piling on, commenting, you're so strong, Diane. I'm done engaging. Ethan sends another payment app request, this time for $1,500, with a note, last chance, bro. I decline it, and he texts, you're dead to me. I don't even flinch. Tom's been quiet, but I hear him muttering on Diane's calls, things like, he'll regret this. I'm past caring. They showed me who they are, people who only want me when there's money involved. Then I get a call from Mike, the landlord. Jake, your folks are packing up. They're out tomorrow. You still want the place? I confirm, yeah, I'm good for it. I'm ready to sign the lease, picturing myself fixing up the old house, maybe painting the walls, making it my own. But then Mike throws a curveball. Got a guy interested in buying the property outright, he says. He's offering cash, above market. You want to counter? I'm stunned. Buy the house? I've got the lottery money, but dropping most of it on a house wasn't the plan. Still, the idea of owning it, not just renting, hits me hard. It's the house I grew up in, where I fixed my first bike in the garage, where I used to sneak late-night snacks. It could be mine for real. I tell Mike, give me a day to think. I crunch the numbers. After paying off my Chevy and some bills, I've got about $80,000 left. The house is old, needs work, but it's worth maybe $120,000. I could swing a down payment, get a small loan for the rest. I call Mike back, say, I'll match the offer, but I need a deal. He laughs, says, you're full of surprises, Jake. I'll talk to the buyer. I'm not sure if I'm crazy, but the thought of owning that place, cutting my family off for good, feels right. Meanwhile, Diane tries a new angle. She shows up at my apartment, all teary, holding a box of my old stuff, comic books, a baseball glove. I thought you'd want these, she says, voice shaking. I take the box, but I see through it. She's not here to make peace. Sure enough, She adds, we're losing the house, Jake. You could help us stay. I look her in the eye, say, you had months to pay rent. I'm not your fix. She starts crying, but I shut the door. Ethan texts later, saying, Mom's a mess because of you. I don't reply. Tom leaves a voicemail, voice low, saying, you're making a big mistake, son. I delete it. I'm done with their games. If I pull this off, I'm not just taking their house, I'm taking control. Mike calls back, says the other buyer's hesitating. You're in the driver's seat, Jake, he says. I tell him, draw up the papers. I'm buying. It's a risk, but I'm ready to bet on myself. They thought they could guilt me into saving them. Instead, I'm building my own future. One more chapter to go, and it's gonna be a big one.